Welcome to Artificial Fictions. We post new scary stories every day written by artificial intelligence. I hope you enjoy them. In a quiet suburban neighborhood nestled under the veil of twilight, there lived a man named Mr. Holloway. His house, a dilapidated relic from another era, stood like a looming specter amidst the neatly manicured lawns and cheerful facades of the neighboring homes. From the moment the sun dipped below the horizon, whispers of unease would ripple through the streets. For it was then that Mr. Holloway would emerge from the shadows, a solitary figure framed by the dim glow of his curtained windows. Neighbors spoke in hushed tones of the strange and unsettling occurrences witnessed through those windows. They spoke of glimpses caught in the dead of night, of Mr. Holloway's silhouette, twisted and contorted, lurking behind the frosted glass like a ghost trapped in purgatory. Children dared each other to approach the house, their courage waning as they neared its decrepit porch. They claimed to have seen eyes watching from the darkness, gleaming with a malevolent hunger that sent shivers down their spines. But it was Mrs. Jenkins, an elderly widow who lived across the street, who bore the brunt of Mr. Holloway's eerie presence. Night after night, she would glimpse his shadowy figure looming in the upstairs window, his eyes fixed upon her with a chilling intensity that pierced through the veil of her solitude. As the days grew shorter and the nights grew colder, Mrs. Jenkins found herself consumed by a sense of dread that gnawed at her very soul. Sleep became elusive, haunted by the specter of Mr. Holloway's relentless gaze. Desperate for respite, she sought solace in the company of her neighbors, but their words offered little comfort in the face of the unknown. They too felt the weight of Mr. Holloway's presence pressing down upon them, a silent specter that haunted the edges of their consciousness. And so, the neighborhood remained cloaked in fear, held captive by the enigma of Mr. Holloway and the secrets that lurked within the shadows of his home. For in the dead of night, when the world slept and the stars whispered ancient secrets, his windows would come alive with a sinister glow, casting long, twisted shadows that danced in the darkness, a silent reminder of the horrors that lurked just beyond the threshold. In the heart of a quaint town nestled between mist-covered mountains, there stood a restaurant known as the Midnight Bistro. Its owner, Mr. Hawthorne, was a man of enigmatic demeanor, his piercing gaze sending shivers down the spines of those who dared to meet it. As the days passed, whispers began to circulate among the townsfolk, rumors of strange occurrences within the confines of the Midnight Bistro. Some claimed to have witnessed eerie shadows dancing in the dimly lit corners, while others spoke of a palpable sense of uneasy that settled like a heavy fog over the restaurant's patrons. But it was the food that stirred the deepest suspicions. The dishes served at the Midnight Bistro possessed an otherworldly allure, their flavors tantalizing and exotic, yet tinged with a subtle hint of something sinister. As word of Mr. Hawthorne's malevolent intent spread, a group of intrepid diners resolved to uncover the truth behind the enigmatic restaurateur and his macabre cuisine. Among them was Emily, a young journalist with a keen eye for the truth and a determination to expose the darkness lurking beneath the surface. Under the cover of darkness, they ventured into the depths of the Midnight Bistro, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and anticipation. The air was thick with the scent of spices and secrets, the flickering candlelight casting long shadows that seemed to dance with a life of their own. As they sampled the dishes laid before them, a sense of foreboding settled over the group like a shroud. Each bite carried with it a whisper of malevolence, a taste of something far more sinister than mere ingredients could account for. With each passing moment, their suspicions grew, fueled by the unsettling glint in Mr. Hawthorne's eyes and the eerie silence that hung heavy in the air. And then, just as they were on the verge of uncovering the truth, disaster struck. One by one, the diners fell victim to a mysterious ailment, their bodies racked with pain as the malevolent essence of the Midnight Bistro claimed its latest victims. As Emily watched in horror, she realized the true extent of Mr. Hawthorne's malevolent intent, a darkness that lurked beneath the surface, feeding on the souls of those who dared to defy its insatiable hunger. With a heavy heart and a determination to bring justice to the fallen, Emily vowed to expose the truth behind the Midnight Bistro and its enigmatic owner, knowing that some secrets were never meant to stay buried, and some evils never meant to be ignored. It was a stormy night, the kind that cast shadows long and sinister across the deserted streets. In a small town nestled amidst the hills, a lone pizza delivery driver named Jake embarked on his final delivery of the evening. As he navigated the winding roads, the howling wind seemed to echo the foreboding whispers of the night. Lightning illuminated the path ahead, revealing gnarled trees that reached out like skeletal fingers grasping for salvation. Jake arrived at his destination, a secluded cabin hidden deep within the woods. The air was thick with an oppressive silence, broken only by the distant rumble of thunder. Ignoring the prickling sensation crawling up his spine, Jake approached the door, his heart pounding with trepidation. With a trembling hand, he knocked, the sound reverberating through the eerie stillness of the night. Moments stretched into eternity before the door creaked open, revealing a figure cloaked in darkness. The occupant, a gaunt man with hollow eyes, beckoned Jake inside with a silent gesture. As he stepped across the threshold, the air grew heavy with the weight of unseen secrets, suffocating him with its oppressive embrace. The cabin was shrouded in darkness, illuminated only by the flickering glow of dying candles. Shadows danced along the walls, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes that seemed to leer at Jake with malicious intent. With a nervous smile, Jake handed the man his pizza, eager to escape the suffocating atmosphere that clung to the cabin like a suffocating shroud. But as he turned to leave, the man's voice pierced the silence like a dagger. "Wait," he said, his tone laced with a sinister edge. "Would you care to join me for a slice?" Jake's blood ran cold as he met the man's gaze, his eyes glinting with an unholy light that sent a chill down his spine. Sensing the danger lurking beneath the surface, Jake declined, his voice barely above a whisper. As he fled into the night, the echoes of the man's laughter followed him, carried on the wings of the howling wind. For in that moment, Jake knew that some doors were better left unopened, and some deliveries were best left undelivered in the depths of the night. Once, there was a man named Thomas who had an insatiable curiosity for exploring the unknown. One moonless night, he stumbled upon a narrow underground cave hidden within the depths of a dense forest. Ignoring the warning signs of danger, he decided to venture into its shadowy depths. With each step, the air grew colder, and the darkness enveloped him like a suffocating cloak. Thomas's heart pounded against his chest as he crawled deeper into the claustrophobic confines of the cave, his only companion the echoing sound of his own labored breath. Time lost its meaning as he slithered through the winding passages, the walls closing in around him like gnarled fingers reaching for his soul. The dampness seeped through his clothes and the faint scent of decay lingered in the stale air. Suddenly, Thomas felt a shiver run down his spine as he heard an eerie whisper echoing through the cavernous depths. Ignoring the rising sense of dread, he pressed on, driven by his unrelenting curiosity. But the deeper he delved, the more twisted and sinister the cave became. Strange symbols adorned the walls, casting eerie shadows that danced and writhed in the dim light of his flickering torch. As Thomas crawled further into the darkness, he became aware of a presence lurking just beyond the reach of his feeble light. His heart raced with terror as he felt unseen eyes watching his every move, their gaze piercing through the veil of darkness. Suddenly, a bone-chilling howl reverberated through the cavern, sending tremors of fear coursing through Thomas's veins. Panic clawed at his mind as he realized he was not alone in the depths of the earth. Frantically, he tried to retreat, but the narrow passage had become a labyrinth, twisting and turning in on itself like a malevolent serpent. With each passing moment, the darkness seemed to close in tighter, suffocating him with its oppressive weight. And then, just as Thomas thought he could bear the terror no longer, he saw it, a pair of glowing eyes burning like embers in the Stygian darkness. Frozen in terror, he watched as the creature emerged from the shadows, its twisted form illuminated by the flickering torchlight. With a guttural growl, the creature lunged forward, its razor-sharp claws poised to strike. And in that final, terrifying moment, Thomas knew that some mysteries were never meant to be unraveled, and some caves were better left unexplored. High above the clouds, amidst the vast expanse of the night sky, soared Captain Mark Johnson, a seasoned pilot with years of experience navigating the heavens. It was a routine flight, the hum of the engines lulling him into a sense of tranquil solitude as he charted his course across the starlit expanse. But as the hours passed and the darkness deepened, a sense of unease began to gnaw at the edges of Mark's consciousness. It started as a flicker, a fleeting shadow that danced at the periphery of his vision, teasing him with its elusive presence. Brushing aside the creeping tendrils of doubt, Mark focused on the task at hand, his gaze fixed upon the endless expanse of twinkling stars that stretched out before him like diamonds scattered across the velvet tapestry of the night. And then, without warning, it appeared, a shimmering light, dancing on the edge of the horizon like a celestial wraith beckoning him into the unknown. At first, Mark dismissed it as a trick of the light, a mere anomaly born of exhaustion and the monotony of the night. But as the light drew closer, its brilliance intensifying with each passing moment, Mark felt a chill ripple through his veins. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, a pulsating orb of luminous energy, its tendrils reaching out across the heavens like the fingers of a celestial deity. With a sinking heart, Mark realized that he was not alone in the skies, that he had stumbled upon something beyond the realm of human understanding, something ancient and unfathomable in its magnitude. As the mysterious light enveloped his aircraft in its ethereal embrace, Mark's instruments flickered and faltered, their readings distorted by the otherworldly presence that loomed just beyond the veil of his comprehension. Desperate for answers, Mark reached out to his fellow pilots, their voices crackling with static as they too bore witness to the inexplicable phenomenon unfolding in the heavens above. And then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the light vanished, leaving behind nothing but the echo of its passing and the lingering sense of dread that hung heavy in the air. For Captain Mark Johnson, that fateful night would forever remain etched in his memory, a testament to the mysteries that lurk beyond the boundaries of human understanding and the fleeting glimpses of the sublime that await those who dare to traverse the skies. In the heart of the old woods, where the trees whispered ancient secrets and the moon cast eerie shadows upon the forest floor, there stood a forgotten cemetery shrouded in the mists of time. Its weathered headstones bore the names of those long departed, their epitaphs fading into obscurity as nature reclaimed the land. It was said that on the night of the full moon, the spirits of the restless dead would rise from their graves, their ethereal forms haunting the darkened pathways of the cemetery like wraiths condemned to wander for all eternity. Among the townsfolk, the legend of the cemetery was spoken in hushed tones, a cautionary tale to those who dared to tread upon its cursed grounds. But for Adam, a curious young man with a thirst for adventure, the lure of the cemetery's dark mysteries proved too tantalizing to resist. With each step, the air grew thick with anticipation, the silence broken only by the soft crunch of leaves beneath his feet. Shadows danced along the edges of his vision, their twisted forms weaving tales of forgotten horrors that lurked just beyond the veil of darkness. As Adam ventured deeper into the heart of the cemetery, he felt the weight of unseen eyes watching his every move, their gaze burning with a malevolent hunger that sent shivers down his spine. And then, he saw them, the spirits of the restless dead, their spectral forms drifting among the headstones like phantoms lost in the mists of time. Their eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, their whispers carrying on the wind like a haunting melody that chilled him to the bone. With a sinking heart, Adam realized that he was not alone in the cemetery, that he had stumbled upon something far more sinister than he could have ever imagined. The spirits hungered for his soul, their unearthly cries echoing through the darkness as they closed in around him like a pack of ravenous wolves. Desperate to escape the clutches of the restless dead, Adam fled deeper into the heart of the cemetery, his heart pounding with terror as he raced against the encroaching darkness. But no matter how fast he ran, the spirits pursued him with relentless determination, their wails growing louder with each passing moment. And as the moon cast its baleful light upon the cemetery, Adam knew that he had trespassed upon forbidden ground, that he had awakened forces far beyond his comprehension. In the end, the cemetery claimed him as its own, his screams lost amidst the howling winds as the spirits dragged him down into the depths of the earth, where the darkness reigns eternal, and the deed holds sway over all who dare to tread upon their cursed domain. And so, the legend of the cemetery lived on, a cautionary tale a whispered among the townsfolk, a reminder of the darkness that lurks just beyond the edges of our reality, waiting to claim those foolish enough to seek its secrets. In the heart of the dense forest, where the trees whispered ancient secrets and the shadows danced with eerie delight, there stood an abandoned mansion cloaked in the shroud of darkness. Its weathered walls bore witness to years of neglect, its windows shattered remnants of a forgotten past. Legend whispered of the mansion's tragic history, a tale of love and loss, betrayal and revenge. It was said that the spirit of the mansion's former owner, Lady Evelyn, still roamed its haunted halls, her ethereal presence lingering like a specter trapped between worlds. One fateful night, a group of adventurous souls dared to venture into the depths of the forest, drawn by the lure of the mansion's dark mysteries. Among them was Emily, a young woman with a thirst for adventure and a heart full of curiosity. As they approached the mansion, the air grew thick with anticipation, the weight of centuries pressing down upon them like a suffocating fog. With trembling hands, they pushed open the creaking doors, their senses assaulted by the musty scent of decay that hung heavy in the air. The mansion was a labyrinth of forgotten memories and whispered secrets, its corridors winding like serpents through the darkness, leading them deeper into the heart of the unknown. But as they explored its shadowy depths, they soon realized they were not alone. Strange noises echoed through the halls, the sound of disembodied footsteps echoing like a macabre symphony of despair. And then they saw her, a wraith-like figure drifting through the darkness, her eyes burning with an otherworldly fire as she beckoned them closer with a ghostly hand. Frozen with fear, they watched as Lady Evelyn's spectral form materialized before them, her voice a mournful lament that pierced the silence of the night. With each passing moment, the mansion seemed to come alive with a malevolent energy, its walls pulsating with a sinister power that threatened to consume them all. Desperate to escape the grasp of the mansion's dark embrace, they fled into the night, their hearts pounding with terror as they raced against the encroaching darkness. But as they reached the edge of the forest, they looked back one final time, and there, standing amidst the shadows, was Lady Evelyn, her eyes filled with an insatiable hunger that chilled them to the bone. For in that moment they knew that some mysteries were better left unsolved, and some houses were best left abandoned to the darkness that dwells within. In the heart of the sleepy town of Willowbrook, nestled among the whispering pines and fog-draped hills, there stood an old abandoned asylum, a crumbling monument to madness and despair. Its towering facade loomed over the town like a specter from another time, its windows shattered remnants of a forgotten past. For years, the asylum had stood silent and empty, its halls haunted by the echoes of tormented souls lost to the ravages of time. But as the sun set on a moonless night, a group of daring teenagers ventured into the asylum's decaying halls, drawn by the allure of its dark mysteries. Among them was Alex, a young man with a taste for adventure and a hunger for the unknown. With each step, the air grew thick with the weight of unseen eyes watching their every move, the darkness pressing in around them like a suffocating embrace. As they explored the asylum's shadowy corridors, they felt the presence of something ancient and malevolent lurking just beyond the veil of reality. Shadows danced along the walls, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes that seemed to leer at them with eyes of fire. But it was the asylum's infamous Ward 13 that called out to them, a forbidden chamber said to be the resting place of the asylum's most disturbed patients. With trembling hands, they pushed open the door, their hearts pounding with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. As they stepped into the darkness, they felt a chill ripple through the air, the temperature dropping with each passing moment. Whispers echoed through the halls, the voices of the forgotten dead, rising from the depths of the asylum's haunted past. And then, they saw it, a figure lurking in the shadows, its form twisted and contorted like a nightmare given life. With eyes as black as midnight, it watched them with a hunger that chilled them to the bone, its presence suffused with an unholy power that defied comprehension. With a primal scream, the teenagers fled from the asylum's grasp, their hearts pounding with terror as they raced into the night, the echoes of their footsteps lost amidst the darkness that clung to the asylum like a curse. But as they disappeared into the fog-shrouded streets of Willowbrook, they knew that they had awakened something ancient and malevolent, a force that lurked just beyond the edges of their reality, waiting to claim its next unwitting victims. And so, the asylum remained shrouded in darkness, its haunted halls a testament to the horrors that lurked within the human mind, and the darkness that waits to consume those who dare to tread upon its cursed ground. In the quiet town of Ravenswood, nestled deep within the mist-shrouded hills, there stood an old, dilapidated carnival that had long been forgotten by time. Its faded banners fluttered in the wind, their colors muted by years of neglect, while the echoes of laughter and merriment had long since faded into the ether. Few dared to venture into the carnival's desolate grounds, for its twisted attractions held secrets darker than the night itself. But for Sarah, a young woman with a penchant for the macabre, the carnival held an irresistible allure, a siren's call that beckoned her into the heart of darkness. As she stepped through the rusted gates, the air grew heavy with the weight of unseen eyes watching her every move. The carnival was a maze of decrepit rides and crumbling booths, their once vibrant colors now faded into shades of gray. But it was the Hall of Mirrors that called out to Sarah, a labyrinth of twisted reflections and distorted realities that promised to reveal the deepest, darkest corners of her soul. With each step, the mirrors whispered secrets of forgotten sins and forbidden desires, their reflections twisting and contorting into grotesque caricatures of humanity. Sarah's heart raced with a mixture of fear and exhilaration as she ventured deeper into the hall, her footsteps echoing like a dirge in the silence of the night. And then, she saw it. A figure lurking in the shadows, its form obscured by the darkness that clung to the carnival like a shroud. With bated breath, Sarah approached, her pulse quickening with each passing moment. As she drew closer, the figure emerged from the darkness, a spectral apparition with hollow eyes that bore into her very soul. It spoke in whispers, its voice a chilling refrain that sent shivers down her spine. With trembling hands, Sarah reached out to touch the figure, only to recoil in horror as its icy touch sent tendrils of dread coursing through her veins. For in that moment, she realized the true nature of the carnival's dark secret, a prison for lost souls doomed to wander its twisted corridors for all eternity. With a primal scream, Sarah fled from the carnival's grasp, her heart pounding with terror as she raced into the night, the echoes of her footsteps lost amidst the shadows that clung to the carnival like a curse. And as she disappeared into the darkness, the carnival watched with silent amusement, its twisted attractions hungering for the next unsuspecting soul to wander into its grasp. For in Ravenswood, the carnival was more than just a place. It was a gateway to the abyss, where nightmares became reality, and the darkness held sway over all who dared to venture into its depths. In the bustling metropolis of Unity City, where towering skyscrapers stretched toward the heavens and the streets pulsed with the rhythm of life, there lived a superhero known as Sentinel. Clad in armor forged from the fires of justice, he patrolled the city's streets with unwavering resolve, a beacon of hope in a world shrouded by darkness. For years, Sentinel had battled villains and thwarted schemes that threatened to tear the city apart. But little did he know that his greatest challenge lay just beyond the horizon, lurking in the shadows like a silent predator biding its time. It began with whispers, a murmuring of fear that swept through the streets like wildfire. Rumors spoke of a new villain, one whose power surpassed anything Unity City had ever seen, a being of darkness and despair known only as the Shadow King. As Sentinel delved deeper into the darkness, he soon found himself ensnared in a web of deceit and treachery. The Shadow King's influence spread like a cancer, corrupting everything it touched and leaving naught but despair in its wake. With each confrontation, Sentinel found himself pushed to the brink, his resolve tested like never before. The Shadow King wielded power beyond comprehension, his mastery of darkness bending reality itself to his will. Time and again, Sentinel clashed with the Shadow King, each battle more brutal than the last. The city trembled beneath their feet, caught in the crossfire of a conflict that threatened to consume them all. But as the shadows deepened and the darkness threatened to swallow them whole, Sentinel refused to surrender to despair. For in the heart of darkness, he found the strength to rise above, to confront the demons that haunted his every waking moment. In a final epic showdown, Sentinel faced the Shadow King atop the city's tallest skyscraper, the fate of Unity City hanging in the balance. The air crackled with tension as they clashed, their powers colliding in a cataclysmic display of light and darkness. For hours they battled, each blow echoing through the city like thunder in the night. But in the end, it was Sentinel's unwavering resolve that proved to be his greatest weapon, his courage shining brighter than the darkness that sought to consume him. With a mighty roar, Sentinel unleashed a torrent of light that pierced the Shadow King's veil of darkness, banishing him back into the depths from whence he came. And as the sun rose over Unity City once more, Sentinel stood victorious, a testament to the power of hope in the face of despair. For even in the darkest of nights, there shines a light that can never be extinguished, a beacon of hope that guides the way for those who dare to stand against the shadows. And in that moment, Sentinel proved that even the mightiest of villains can be vanquished by the power of the human spirit.